is good, YouTube? Roshad here, and I am back with another movie review. I'm here with a review for the latest entry in the Mortal Kombat series. We're finally getting an update, a reboot, a reimagining, just a new movie for Mortal Kombat. I've been waiting for this shit for like 20 plus years. Can you believe that the original came out in like 1995? That is freaking crazy, man. This movie had so much just non-stop action and people getting their ass horribly destroyed, fatality, spines ripped out, like anything you can think of. It was crazy, man. I can't wait to get into more detail with this. I'm gonna be talking about it non-spoiler at first. Tomorrow I'll post another review / discussion with spoilers. I'm talking about everything in that. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this one out of the way because I'm gonna release this early, and I want anyone who hasn't seen it yet to still be able to watch this review if they're interested in just knowing and get my thoughts on whether or not it's good. If that's all you want to know, yeah, it's good. I guess you can click off the video now if you want, but if you want to hear more, stay tuned. Yo, this movie is non-stop action. They jump right in and they don't make any attempt to even try to go on and on and on about all of this backstory and character development. They're like, nah, we're here to see people get their ass beat and get fatality with all of our favorite characters. They literally start murdering and slaughtering everyone from like the very beginning of the movie. It's like crazy, like the first freaking 5 minutes. All right, let me go back real quick. There is a little bit of story to it, and I'll just briefly explain it again without spoiling. So there's Mortal Kombat, there's a bunch of tournaments that take place between Earthrealm and Netherrealm. Whoever wins 10, or if the Netherworld wins 10, then they get to take over the Earthrealm, and I believe it's 10 in a row that they need to win. They've currently won 9, same as the 1995 movie. And in this case, it's a little bit different though, because Shang Tsung goes out of his way to break as many rules as humanly possible, because he's like, man, fuck these rules, I'm gonna just go ahead and take over anyway. It's like they might as well not even did the damn tournament with the way Shang Tsung went about things, because he just went around just killing and slaughtering whomever, whether it was somebody involved with the tournament or not. And there's specifically designated individuals with like these dragon tattoos, so that's something that's original. I don't think they've done anything like that before, and I actually thought that was a pretty cool concept. Essentially, if you kill somebody with the tattoo, then you get the tattoo, and Earth's defenders pretty much all have the tattoo. But it's a pretty interesting story the way Shang Tsung just goes around and just murders everybody with all the dragon tattoos. It's actually kind of hilarious to me in my twisted mind when you think about it. Sub-Zero is one of the major characters in the movie. If you couldn't tell by the trailer, this man is a truth. Just the way they capture that camera angle, him doing the little ice blade and shit, it's like that the whole movie. Anytime Sub-Zero's on screen, he just literally has this very threatening presence. He shows up and wrecks anybody who shows up, anybody who steps to him. It's like he gets stronger. He got like new moves and shit every time he's on screen. So just when you think, oh well, this character seemed like they're pretty good, you know, they're a little bit better than they were last time, and then Sub-Zero shows up and he's like, no bitch, go sit down somewhere. I got my own game, Mortal Kombat Mythologies. I'm everybody's favorite character. Nobody can beat the game without playing a Sub-Zero. He's like, fuck all you niggas. I'm the main character of this bitch. Funny thing, the main character's name is Cole, but it kind of felt like freaking Sub-Zero was the main character because how much screen time he had. There are so many phenomenal fights in this movie, man. It didn't make no sense. There's so many battles. You felt every punch, every kick. It was well choreographed. People got choked, sliced, burned. Like people got backhanded. Man, I don't remember how many times it happened, but there was several different fights where you just see them just punching and kicking and just doing humiliating shit to each other. You just randomly see somebody just backhand the other person. And I'm like, oh shit, that's so damn disrespectful, yo. It was glorious as hell. Special effects were pretty good. I feel like every time there's movie reviews, I watch a couple other reviews and there's always some guys talking about, I'm not gonna name anybody, but they're always like, oh, special effects were weird, you know, it looked funny on this and blah. I'm like, man, no freaking body notices, man. The special effects look good. I was actually paying pretty close attention to the effects. I thought they were all pretty damn solid. I enjoyed all of it. Anybody who's an average consumer, probably like 99% of anybody who watches this video for sure is gonna think that the special effects were good. So definitely no problems there. And there was a lot of them. They didn't hold anything back like the original 1995 film where nobody had all their powers. Everybody has all of their fucking moves in this movie and they use them. It's freaking amazing. It's like everything that I wanted from a Mortal Kombat movie, or at least almost everything. There's so many characters. That's one of my favorite things about Mortal Kombat, and I think what a lot of people don't get sometimes that gets people really engaged with like movies and games and just anything in general in media is like characters. So I got a list of the characters. I'm gonna read them off for y'all. This isn't even all of them. So you got Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya, Jax, Kano, Goro, Shang Tsung, and the funny thing about that is there's literally like twice as many characters in the movie. Those are like the main ones who you can see, like if you watch the trailer and stuff, you can see all of them. But there's more than that. Like literally, I'm not even exaggerating, like twice as many as I just listed. I listed like what, around like 10? I feel like there's at least about 20 different characters. I don't remember the exact number. It might be a little less, a little more, but there's a hella ton of fights, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these characters were not introduced in the trailers. So I guess they're supposed to be like a surprise. And one of them in particular, it just so happens to be a character I really like. Again, I can't say who it is, but there's a couple of actual encounters and fights with this one particular character, and I'm like, damn, they did such a freaking amazing and phenomenal job just really showcasing their abilities and all the powers from the games. You felt like you were watching the games come to life. All right, man, there's one character that we got to talk about. We just got to talk about it. I don't think anybody really saw this coming. I certainly didn't. This dude, Kano, is such a fucking asshole and a piece of shit. He's literally my favorite character in the movie because he just talks so much shit. He never shuts the fuck up and it's hilarious. For me, the type of sense of humor I got, it was freaking gut busting. I was laughing my ass off anytime he was saying anything. He had a cocky, smart aleck attitude and everything he was saying was funny as hell. It was just freaking ridiculous. And I just couldn't believe what they turned the movie into because he gets a lot of freaking airtime and they knew what the hell they were doing. Whoever wrote it, good shit. Kudos to you because you knew what the fuck you were doing. So like, I'm hoping that we definitely get more of this in the next movie because I feel like that kind of comic relief is kind of needed. A lot of serious shit happens in this movie. Kano just turns that whole damn thing upside down, and I feel like anybody who watches the movie is either gonna just absolutely love him just like me, or they're just gonna hate him. They're gonna hate how he looks, hate how he talks. They just won't get his jokes. I don't really know how you can be a fan of something like Mortal Kombat and not like this. So I don't know, y'all let me know, but Kano is freaking awesome as hell in this movie to me. The acting in the movie was on point. I do have a keen eye for that. I can tell when somebody like overacts or underacts. This movie, they did really good. You could tell everybody was feeling it. Everybody was into it. There was even some emotional scenes. Now, I didn't feel like a whole lot because that's not what a movie was about. But I did really enjoy what they offered and like some of the look of shock and just horror on people's faces when things like fatalities were happening, or freaking Melina. For anybody who saw the trailer, you know, Melina's in the movie and she scares the shit out of everybody in the actual movie itself, and they're looking like, ugh, when they see all of that nasty mouth action she got. So it was acted pretty well. I enjoyed everybody's performance in it. Let me talk about the negatives real quick. I think this is going to be one of the biggest criticisms that the movie's going to get. Is going to be about the character Cole. He is a good character. I like the character a lot, actually. So look, my score for this movie is going to be high. So if you didn't like the movie, you might as well leave. But my score for this movie is going to be high. But Cole, he's not I don't want to say he's underwhelming, because to me he wasn't. But compared to some of the other characters, he's not as interesting. But I still found him to be an interesting character. He had a family and all these things. So that I feel like the purpose of Cole was to kind of draw you into a more personal element, because all the stuff with like the Nether Realm and all of that and all these crazy characters does take you into like a totally different place. And I felt like they were trying to ground it somewhat into like Earth and reality and all that stuff. And for that, I enjoyed it. And they did find ways to like tie Cole and his family and things like that and his backstory to it. And he has like the most fleshed out backstory. But one of the negatives will be essentially Cole's existence and being in the movie, period. Because I do feel as though maybe they could have did something better with that. I can't exactly put my finger on it. Maybe just use one of the regular Mortal Kombat characters, because Cole's kind of like a new character. There's some stuff about him that it does tie into Mortal Kombat and other characters, but it totally spoils the story if I talk about it. So can't get any further than that. But there's also the fact that some of the other characters don't really have their stories fleshed out as much as Cole. And there's just a lot of characters, so it's almost impossible to do, especially in one movie. You know, maybe they can kind of extrapolate a little bit more and more and more in every additional movie, assuming that there's going to be a sequel. There is some sequel bait here for sure, and I'm happy about that. So maybe we see that in some of the other movies, but there's not really a whole lot. You don't really know shit about any of the characters unless you play the game. If you watch this movie, you're not going to be like, oh, I know a whole lot more about Sonya Blade and Jackson and all that shit. You're not going to know shit about them besides like these couple, you know, these few and far between comments that they make between scenes and little pictures of them and stuff like that to kind of extrapolate on their history. So they did try, but inevitably that fell kind of short. And another thing for me personally, probably my biggest drawback, is some of the characters who were major players in the movie and overall story didn't really have much in terms of fights. So that's kind of underwhelming for me. I felt like maybe they would kind of throw them in, because they already had so many damn fights between people who you wouldn't even expect to fight. Didn't even have much reason to fight. But some people who had a lot of reason to fight didn't even get involved, and you could tell that it was just straight up sequel bait. Not gonna say what the characters were, but they're definitely sequel baiting really hard. That may make some people kind of pissed off. For me, it was a slight annoyance, and that's why it doesn't get like an even higher score from me. But still, even with those negatives, I want to see this movie again right now. That's how good it was. I literally just want to go back and watch it over again immediately. Cutting right down to the chase, y'all. This movie for me gets a solid 9 out of 10. I love the movie. It had almost everything that I wanted. Sequel baited pretty hard, which is kind of a pro and a con at the same time. So I do have mixed feelings about that. But man, there were so many people getting their ass kicked and their ass beat in the movie. A lot of freaking fatalities, flawless victories. There's just a lot of freaking fighting, great camera angles. Like, they captured everything perfectly. The vibe, it feels different from the 1995 version. It feels like it has its own unique identity, and the identity that it has is amazing. Kano's funny as hell. All the characters, for the most part, were done a lot of justice. If you watch the movie, anything that you feel like is missing, if you've seen the previews and you're like, oh, something's missing, in the movie, they're probably going to cover anything that you can think of for the most part, or at least explain anything that you might be thinking. So I would say don't worry about that. Gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. You agree with me? Give the video a like. Hell, even if you don't agree, just like the video anyway. Holla at your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate y'all watching, especially anyone who watched toward the to the end of the review. I'm gonna be posting spoilers tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. Got my old drip. This is my old costume. It's old as dirt. Had this for like damn near 10 years and busted out to do this review because I'm dedicated as fuck. Give me a like for that. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. Catch y'all next time. Peace.